Hey, what's poppin', Silverback Nation? Well, here we are. We made it. Opening day of Major League Baseball. We're coming to you every day bigger, better, and bolder than last year. Last year, we were very successful with MLB betting, as you know, or if you don't know, if you're new to the channel, all I do with baseball is strikeout props, pitching props. That's it. We started halfway through last year. We're very successful, hit over 60% of our bets, made about 42 units in doing so. This year, we're starting from the very beginning of the season. Every day on this channel, early, I'm going to review every single pitching matchup, every single game, every single day, and tell you from that pitching matchup what I like the best in terms of which pitcher and over or under. Now, that's not going to be exactly what I'm betting. I'm not going to make all of these bets. Those bets, my exact betting card will go to Silverback members every single day early to take advantage of early lines. If you want to become a Silverback Jungle member and get these plays, my exact betting card for MLB pinged to your phone every single day early before the lines move, go to silverbackjungle.com, click Become a Jungle member. We have a free weekly trial. So again, we're going to review every single game, every single matchup. My card, the bets that I make, are going to Silverback members, in addition to any other plays that I'm making throughout the day. One demon bet a day, which is a pitcher for plus odds. For example, if Spencer Strider is over 10.5 strikeouts and we would like him for 12, that's a demon bet for plus money. Those go to Jungle members also, as well as any late plays that I add. My betting card, minus the demon bets, minus the added plays, will be on X every day before the first pitch of my first bet that I'm making also. So we got a lot to cover, a lot to do. I'm very excited, and please, I humbly ask you to bear with me as this is a new format for us. I'm excited about it, but there might be a little bit of hiccups until we get it where we want to go. Let's get to work. Game number one. We got the Yanks at Houston. We got Cortez at 4.5 over-under versus Valdez at 5.5 over-under. Now, with a lot of these strikeout props, you like to look at how pitchers start. A lot of them start great early out of the gates. Some of them it takes a little bit of time to get warmed up and get used to. So that's a big thing I use when I'm looking at early season strikeout props. Valdez, 85 pitches last year out of the gates on opening day. 4 strikeouts. Yanks struck out the 11th most in Major League Baseball last season. Cortez got 80. Uncle Nestor got 80 pitches in his first start last season. K'd 4. Then went on to strike out over 4.5 in 5 straight games. Wanted to disable this for a little bit. As you know, came back one game on August 5th to strike out, yes, these Houston Astros 8 times in his final game of the season. So now as a part, as I will all season long, I give you what I like in this game. Again, not what I'm betting, but what I like in this game. I think the pick here is Cortez over 4.5 strikeouts. Next game, we're going to the Washington Nationals against my Cincinnati Reds. Josiah Gray for the Nats, 5.5 versus Frankie Montas of the Reds, 5.5. Cincy last season struck out 5th most in Major League Baseball. Josiah Gray, he gets a lot of pitches. He's going to get up there 80, 90, 100 pitches. He's going to give you a lot of volume, but he doesn't have a lot of strikeout stuff. He doesn't get Ks a lot. Now, he faced Cincinnati once last season, K'd them 6 times on 102 pitches. Montas for Cincinnati, as we know, former Cy Young candidate, but hurt almost all last season. We don't want to put a wager on him if there's a little bit of unknown to his game. We're going to wait and see on him. The bet here would go to Josiah Gray under 5.5 strikeouts. To game 3 we go. Toronto Blue Jays at Tampa Bay Devil Rays is Berrios versus La Máquina versus Zach Eflin. Berrios at 5.5 over-under, and Eflin's at 4.5 over-under. Now, Berrios is not a huge K guy, but was over this 4 of his first 5 games last season, including hitting Tampa Bay for 6 strikeouts the first time he faced them early on in the season. Eflin faced Toronto once, 6 innings, no strikeouts. But opened last season with 5 Ks, and his first game is over this in 6 of his first 7. I don't trust Berrios here over 5.5 against a tough Tampa Bay lineup. My bet would be Zach Eflin over 4.5 strikeouts for Tampa Bay. Game 4, very interesting pitching matchup. Here we go. Minnesota at Kansas City. Pablo Lopez versus Cole Ragans, the surprise from last season. If you're unfamiliar with Cole Ragans, he started off in the bullpen and then ended up being a starter, blew everyone's mind, was striking everyone and their mother out toward the middle and end of the season. Very interesting strikeout prop this season all year long we're going to have with Ragans. But let's talk about Lopez first. Lopez opened up last year versus Kansas City with 8 strikeouts on 85 pitches. Went on in his first 10 games to go over 5.5 strikeouts in 9 of them. Now, Cole Ragans, I love him. I'm a big Cole Ragans fan, but he's just an unknown to start the year, especially on opening day, and I'm not a fan of putting my money on unknowns. My bet here will be Pablo Lopez over 5.5 strikeouts. On we go to the Detroit Tigers and Chicago White Sox. We got Tarik Skubal versus Garrett Crochet. Skubal over 6.5, over under 6.5 is his line. Crochet 4.5 is his line. Now Skubal hurt most of last year, finished the year with 7+ strikeouts in his last 8 games. When he has it, he has it. Crochet making his starting debut, the 2020 11th overall pick of the first round, was in the bullpen last year, had 85 strikeouts in only 73 innings. The question is, with guys like this, what they ordinarily do is stretch their arm out. They won't give him 5-6 innings right away. With the transfer from the bullpen to the starting rotation, they're going to let him get loose, let his arm, really kind of get in midseason form gradually throughout the year, so I'd stay away from that. He does have the potential to go over that. I would be more on the underside, but the bet here on this one would be Skubal over 6.5 strikeouts. Here we go. Pittsburgh Pirates at Miami Marlins. We have Mitch Keller versus Jesus Luzardo. Now, very interesting. So Keller over 4.5, Luzardo over 6 and over under 6.5. Keller started really fast last year, over 4.5 strikeouts in 12 of his first 13 games, tailed off a little bit, came back down to earth because that's not who he is, but did finish the year strong. Luzardo, very good strikeout pitcher, stayed under 7 Ks, though, in 7 of his first 8 games. That tells me what I have to look on, he might be a bit of a slow starter here. My bet for this game would be Mitch Keller over 4.5 strikeouts. San Francisco Giants at San Diego Padres. Battle of the Bays, Battle of the Sands in California. Now we get Webb here for over under 4.5 versus Yu Darvish to the Padres over under 5.5. Webb gets innings. You know that. Led the league last year, led the Major League Baseball in innings. He's going to get 6, 7, 8 innings most outings. Doesn't have a ton of strikeout stuff, but that volume is tough to bet against. He wasn't under 4 strikeouts last year till his 8th start. Darvish, very hit or miss. I don't like betting on him under. I don't like betting on him over, especially with the 5.5 range. I stay away from the over, but the under does scare me a bit too. If I had to bet on him, I would go under. I do believe the bet here is Logan Webb over 4.5 strikeouts, although you're going to lay a ton of juice. I think it's minus 169 right now on FanDuel. We go to the St. Louis Cardinals and Los Angeles Dodgers. We have Miles Mikolas versus Tyler Glasnow. He already pitched this season. Now, Mikolas is over under 3.5. Glasnow over under 7.5. Mikolas is an innings guy. Journeyman, going to get you innings, kind of like Logan Webb. Not as good as Logan Webb, but he's going to get you 5-6 innings. The problem is that he's facing the best lineup that money can buy in the Los Angeles Dodgers. Very, very high pitch count. A lot of these guys go deep into counts. 1 through 9, they're very hard to get through. Now, the over-under is 3.5, so we have that working in our favor. Glasnow didn't have a great opener, but averaged 12.2 strikeouts per 9 innings last year. I do think that 7.5 is a bit high coming off his opening performance. My bet in this game would be Miles Mikolas over 3.5. We go to the Cubs and Texas Rangers, maybe the most intriguing pitching matchup of opening day. Justin Steele over under 4.5 versus Nathan Eovaldi over under 5.5. Steele started last season over in 4 of his first 5 and ended the season over in 10 straight games. Eovaldi always has quality starts, was hurt a lot of last year, but went over this in 4 of his first 5 starts. You can't go wrong with either one of these guys. I do think that Steele is a better strikeout pitcher when he's on. My bet here would be Justin Steele of the Cubs over 4.5 strikeouts. Cleveland Guardians, don't call them the Indians. Oakland Athletics. In Oakland, Alex Wood versus Shane Bieber. Now, Wood, journeyman, he's going to go 4 or 5 innings at most. Not really a big strikeout guy. 3.5 is tough. That's always tough to bet the under in case he's on that day. I wouldn't trust the over. Shane Bieber, on the other hand, Cleveland, really young guy, really came on at the end of last year, but I think that 6.5 is a bit high. He ended up around 5.5, sometimes 6.5 toward the end of last season. My bet in this game would be Shane Bieber under 6.5 strikeouts. We go to Arizona, Colorado Rockies versus the Arizona D-backs. Kyle Freeland versus Zach Attack Gallen. Freeland's at 3.5 over-under, and Gallen's at 6.5 over-under. Freeland doesn't have big strikeout stuff, big potential, but for plus money, it's plus 135 right now, plus 140 maybe on FanDuel. He does have that kind of, that's not a bad bet. He has gone over this in half of his games last season. Gallen started off last year over in 4 of his first 5. I think this is a very efficient line for Zach Gallen. 6.5 is a very efficient line. It's plus 100 right now on both FanDuel and DraftKings. My lean here, however, would be under Kyle Freeland, under 3.5 strikeouts. Arizona, one of the toughest teams last season to strike out. I'd lean Freeland under 3.5. Boston Red Sox at Seattle take on the Mariners. We have Brian Basil versus Luis Castillo. I'm going to talk to you about what's called a system play here. A system play means that when I see something, I hop on it without overanalyzing. My system play with this is Luis Castillo. Anytime I see him for over-under 6.5 strikeouts without something crazy going on, I have to hop on that. Let's take a look at Bayo, though. 132 strikeouts last year isn't a ton, but he had Seattle's number. 2 games versus Seattle had 14 strikeouts, 7 and 7. In those 2 games, respectively. Castillo is one of the best strikeout pitchers in baseball. When I look at these, who I trust here, it's a system play for me. It's Luis Castillo over 6.5 strikeouts. 2 more games to go. Milwaukee Brewers at the New York Metropolitans. We got Freddie Peralta and Quintana of the New York Mets. Now, there's no lines out yet, which sucks. It sucks. There's no lines in this game. But I love Peralta. I would look, if it's over 6.5, take it there. If it's 7.5 for plus money, take it. 7.5 for minus money, stay away. I don't like Quintana. I would lean more toward the under. If it's 4.5 on Quintana, 5.5, definitely take the under. But my lean here when the line comes out will be, I don't like to say lean. I don't like that. But my play here would be Peralta over 6.5, over 7.5 for plus money. Final game of the day in the best pitching duel of the day, we go to Philadelphia. Atlanta versus Philly. We have Spencer Strider and Zach Wheeler. Spencer opening up at 8.5. That might move. And Zach Wheeler opening up at 5.5. That might move too. These are 2 pitchers. Last year, Spencer Strider, number 1 in the league in strikeouts. Zach Wheeler, number 9. Zach Wheeler, very, very streaky. In Atlanta, a very tough lineup. I like Spencer Strider here over 9.5 or over 8.5. I even like him over 9.5. I think he comes out just like he did last year. King of the Hill, pun intended, in terms of strikeouts. That's our 14 games for opening day. Expect this every single day from me. Let me know, Silverback Nation, in the comment section. Do you like the new format? I will get better as it goes on. I work nonstop around the clock. I appreciate the opportunity for you allowing me to do what I do. Become a Silverback member at silverbackjungle.com. Get my full betting card. Again, these are just, when I look at these games, the bets that I like the most in each matchup. My betting card, what I'm going to make money on, is going straight to Silverback members, pinged right to their phone every single day. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow with a little more money in your pocket.